To me, enough is enough. They just wanna hurt us, bring us down, bring us down. Enough is enough. We won't let them hurt us, bring us down, bring us down. Enough is enough. You won't bring us down, bring us down. Enough is enough. They just wanna hurt us, bring us down, bring us down. Enough is enough.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Indie Wrestling Corner with another episode of Under the Ropes. I'm your host as always, the queen of the Indies, Tiffany. And today I have another great guest for you. It's Grind Week, and what better way to celebrate than to have Rip Byson on? How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited. I've been actually talking about like having you on the podcast for like a while now. And I have like a list, like I have like an ongoing list because there's so many people out there. But you're definitely was one that I've been wanting to have on the podcast. But this was worked out beautiful since I'm coming up to the show Friday. Finally, I'm excited. So I'll cause some havoc over there, which we all need a little havoc. So.
Chaos.
Yeah, we love the chaos around here. So, guys, if you're new to the the Under the Rope series here, I interview everything independent wrestling, whether it's wrestlers, promoters, referees, backstage. I got you covered. If you guys got any questions for it, please drop it into the chat. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to answer all of your questions. Make sure you hit that like button, that share button to get some people in here. And for all the audio listeners that are listening later, I love you. Thanks for supporting. So, all right, we like to go back to basics around here. And I see Captain Dave's in the chat. What's going on, Captain Dave? How are you? So we're like I said, we're going back to basics. So let's go back. Let's learn a little bit about you. How did you get into professional wrestling?
I started watching when I was like 5 years old. My parents were into it, and so they would once in a while put it on TV, amongst other things. And I really fell in love with it. Because that was around 98, 99 that I started actually watching. So I like the characters. I like Kane. I like Mankind. I like Cactus Jack. Was the reason why I really liked wrestling was when he appeared on SmackDown in that Triple H feud before that Royal Rumble match. That was really what hooked me into it. And then I've always just been a fan. I was always the wrestling kid at school. You know, like everyone else had their other sports. And me and my other buddy, one of us would watch Raw, and one of us would watch SmackDown, and we would meet in the middle of the week and talk about what we watch, and then we would go and hang out with each other, watch the pay-per-views and stuff. So that's pretty much all my life I've been doing wrestling.
Oh wow,
and
that's fun. Like back then in school, like with your friends, like we're talking about all the wrestling. I was always that one chick, the only chick that watched.
Yeah, none of the girls understood why we liked it, but you know. To each their own.
But it's nice though, because like I've watched even like the growth of like female fans become insanely so many girls supporting it, which is so great to see. So me being a nut job myself, so well, I obviously seen you wrestle a lot, and I've seen a lot of great matches, which we'll get into. But for a fan that's listening to this podcast, never saw you wrestle before, what's the match of yours that you would recommend that make them an instant fan?
Man, that's a really tough question because I've been fortunate with the Rip Byson character that I've been having a lot of really good opportunities, and I would say anything with JD Drake, any of my matches with JD Drake, you get pretty much the all-around Rip Byson experience from those matches. My match with Warhorse at Limitless, that one was talked about for a couple years, even through the pandemic. They're like, oh, how great that match was. So that's one. And I mean, it's a quick match too.
Right.
And then most recently, I had a match with Freddy at Pro Wrestling Grind in last November that a lot of people are like, yeah, that was like, if you think of Rip Bison's definition of wrestling, that match was pretty much exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a match that just aired last week with Derek Neal, and that one was pretty much the same thing too. So any of those big Haas matches that I've had, JD Drake, Derek Neal, Warhorse, and Jay Freddy, those are the definition of Rip Bison. If you're just starting off to see what I do.
Yeah, so many great ones. Well, you know what, you brought up Limitless, so we got to talk about. So we finally got to meet, you know, and I know like we talked about it, that it's like we've been in, you know, contact on Twitter for like a while, like, you know, like I would follow a tweet about you and stuff like that. So it was cool. I was really excited that Limitless was always like a bucket list for me. It's about probably 6 hours, I want to say, from New York. Where I live, but I made a weekend out of it. I went to Chaotic and Limitless, so I was so glad at you got to wrestle RSP. So, you know, talk to us about that. Talk to us about some of your favorite experiences working Limitless.
Randy Carver is the owner of Limitless, and the booker, obviously. He's been very, very kind to me with my bookings. He's given me a lot of really good opportunities. I can never thank him enough for that. Like, my first match at Limitless was against Warhorse when Warhorse was the independent wrestling champion, and I was in a championship match for that belt. It was my first ever Limitless match, you know, what are we going on, 3 years ago. So like, that was crazy. And that was only because I had a really good showing 2 weeks prior at a Let's Wrestle show. And then they had some YouTube tapings, and I had 3 good matches in a row, and he was like, all right, he's good to go in 2 weeks. And I was like, whoa, we're already jumping feet first into this, and then just took off from there. And Randy has seen, I think he believes in this character. He knew me way before when I was the Native American Tomahawk, and he always saw something, but he never knew quite what to do with me. And then once I finally had enough of that, after 8 years, I finally switched over to this. I said, hey man, do you think I can do this at one of your shows? And he was like, let's go for it. I want to use you. And so he really liked the character. He likes the style of wrestling. And so he's just been like, I can never thank him enough. It's just been wonderful, my time there with Limitless. And I hope it doesn't ever stop. I mean, it's like my home away from home.
Yeah.
And I mean, Grind is now, you can say that, yes, Pro Wrestling Grind is my home because I own it. But like, Limitless is what made Rip Byson be able to do what Grind is now. So like, it's pretty special to me to work up there for Randy and stuff. And he, like I said, he gave me matches against JD Drake, against RSP, against a whole bunch of guys. I got to wrestle Matt Taven, who was like a pseudo trainer to me when I was coming up. And it's just like, it's really nice. And like, I have some big opportunity matches there, so I just appreciate him so much.
He's so sweet. I'm glad like me and him finally got to meet. He was like another one that I was like corresponding with on like social, always watching like the Limitless shows, especially during the pandemic, which was great. That, you know, it was like one of the shows that, even though, you know, we weren't having fans, you know, watching, at least that we were getting the tapings that were airing. So I feel like that's when, and I always say shout out to John Alba, because John Alba was the one that actually got me into Limitless Wrestling, that me and him were messaging you know, on social media together, and he was like, I think you would really like Limitless. And I'm glad that he turned me into it, because I was like, I really enjoy watching Limitless, and I found like a lot of new characters that I know all over the place now, which is so great. So again, promotion that everybody should be checking out if you're not on IWTV. Sky's in the chat. What's going on? She goes, can't stay too long. I have work in a few hours and haven't slept yet. Midnight here, but hope you're both well. Thank you, Sky. Get some sleep for you. Zach's in the chat. He's like, Rip. Am I gonna see you, Zach, this week? I mean, I hope I'm seeing a whole bunch of people. I feel like I've made a lot of friends with people in Massachusetts, which is great. So I'm very welcoming to me. The crazy New Yorker that does like the 3-hour drives to come see some good wrestling. So
we have a couple groups of people who do a pretty decent drive from New York to come up there. So
yeah, I know like a bunch of the wrestlers too. that drive.
Yeah. We get them from all over the place.
That's awesome, though. So another company I want to talk about too is Wrestling Open. So you've been kind of like showing up there a lot. And one of the weeks that I came up, I got to see you and Brad Hollister, who I had on last week. You guys can check out that interview as well. This was a great hoss fight. Oh man, I was posting clips with you guys on my social media too. So tell us your experience with Wrestle Open.
I like Wrestle Open. I like what they're doing. It's fun to have a weekly show like that to keep the ring rust off, because I never really had an opportunity to do that around here, and it's only an hour away from my house, so it's not too bad on a Thursday night to go out,
Right.
make a few and get to wrestle every week. We got acquainted with Wrestle Open before I even started getting booked, because I was bringing in guys on a Friday for grind shows, because I run Fridays. And so it was just I was always trying to make loops for the guys. So if they're flying in, I want to get them a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, send them home on Sunday, That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Or if we can get them a Sunday,
Yeah.
So Wrestle Open was very cool. They're pretty much, if anybody I book asks them that, hey, they're coming in, they pretty much let them on the show. I know Gary J is booked Friday for us, and he is going to be on Wrestle Open on Thursday, to my knowledge. Actually, I'm bringing him there. So yeah, so like you just get this, I get a working relationship with those guys, and they're Drew and Crockett have been great to me, and very helpful with, like I said, booking some of these guys that I'm bringing in, because not a lot of promotions can say that they work nicely together. And I'm just trying to be that promotion that allows some of these guys a little bit more opportunity in New England, because it sucks being flown in for just one date. Just you're there for the whole hassle of dealing with the airport and stuff. You're there you wrestle for 15 minutes, and then you're back into a hotel waiting for another flight. And if you could get one or two more dates out of that, I feel like that's good for the boys and girls,
Yeah.
So that's just here's me being a big softie for all the guys in the business. But I like Wrestle Open. It's fun.
Yeah.
I had that match with Brad Hollister. It's funny, I've known Hollister for 8 years now, and I've never had a singles match with him until Wrestle Open, and actually that was the first singles match I ever had with him, so that was pretty cool to do. And like I said, I had a blast. That's one of my favorite matches I've had there.
Awesome.
So yeah, no, it's just a blast. It's a fun Thursday show. It's not too long, and you get some cheap drinks out of the building and have some fun. That's what I like Wrestle Open.
Yeah, it's a fun experience. I keep telling everybody, I was like, if you can go up there for a little bit. If I lived closer, I'd probably be there every Thursday. But I can't be doing that drive every Thursday.
Yeah.
I try to go as much. I'm trying to figure out the next time I go up there. Like I'm trying to work it out, but if I'm not gonna go up and then come back down and then like the next day go to like Jersey, it's too much. It's too much. But I try to make it work. So, all right. So I have a fan tweet here from Dom. He goes, "What was the inspiration behind your theme song? On a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you like Joan Jett?"
Oh, I love Joan Jett. She's in my top 5, arguably top 3 rock artists right now. The inspiration behind "I Hate Myself for Loving You" is it's all right, guys. Let's not get negative here. We're gonna try to stay positive, but honestly, it's my relationship with professional wrestling.
Yeah.
To use a term, it's a cruel mistress. You love it. But it can beat you up sometimes, and it's like sometimes you really hate it, but then you always come back to loving it again. And so whenever I hear that, also that song just amps me up.
Yeah.
No, it's just like it when I first heard it because I had used a whole bunch of songs before, and when I heard that song on the radio again after a while, and I was like, you know what? No, that if there's a song that is Rip Byson's feelings toward wrestling and the business and stuff, it's this song. And it's not, and I'm not saying that to be negative and stuff, but it's just, that's how it is. That's what the real relationship is.
Right.
You can, it's just, and like I said, it speaks to me,
Yeah.
And also Joan Jett kicks ass. So, and if anyone has a problem with that, I'll kick your ass.
Ooh. It's so funny because it's like one of my like go-to karaoke songs. So, so you got like extra points from me.
Yeah, karaoke bar I was up in at Maine, or they were doing karaoke at the bar, the last song to play us out at closing time was someone went up and sang "I Hate Myself for Loving You," so I'm doing shots to it while we're going, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. Someone gets it. Someone gets it.
I love it. I love it so much. Oh man. All right, let's do a question that's very dear to my heart when it comes to this podcast, wrestling with positivity, because there's so much negativity out there. I like to focus on the positive. So is there anything, that comes to mind, whether it's something maybe you've done for a wrestler, maybe a wrestler's done for you, maybe a fan's done for you, maybe something you've done for a fan, something that we wouldn't really know about unless, we're talking about it right now?
There's something positive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. Every time I look at, well, the biggest one is honestly my relationship with Delmi XO. We've been together for 7 years now. I think we're going on 8. I can't remember. Shit, too many head knocks. But like, that's the nicest thing that another wrestler or any person in the business, because I met her in the business. We weren't friends outside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the best thing that I've ever gotten out of the business. That's the most positive thing, is my being in a relationship with Delmi. But honestly, I take the little things for positivity. Like anytime someone says, "Wow, that grind card is amazing," or "Wow, that show, nothing missed," and I'm kind of always, I don't want to hear positive stuff because you can't improve on positive.
Mm-hmm.
If someone likes, then there's nothing to improve. I'm always trying to, like, I guess, torment myself with the negative so I can be better, because you always want to try to be better and what's the next step and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I do listen to the positive, like, "Oh, Rip, that match was crazy," and "Wow, you did so great," and "Oh, you're one of my favorite wrestlers," and stuff. And like the little things like that from fans, or even guys in the business who go, "Wow, I really like your matches and I appreciate what you're doing out there," and stuff. Like that little stuff is good enough to keep me going, So there's no big one situation for me. It's just all the little things add up,
Yeah, I like that. Shout out to the big boofa. Desmond Cole's in the chat. He goes, "Such a great dude. Can't wait to get in there with homie."
Big boofa. Listen, you got to get through JD Drake first at Limitless. I saw they just announced your match. So get through him, and then we'll scramble out there, and you'll probably have to, you do a lot of flying and stuff, so I'm going to have to get athletic for you.
I love it. I love Desmond Cole. He's so great. You guys can check out that interview as well on the Under the Rope. Such a good guy. So love you much. Oh yeah, I'd love to see this. I want to come up for that. Like, I'm telling, it's
blown up. I'm already blown up thinking about it.
Oh man. All right. So let's get to the juice. Okay, let's talk grind wrestling. All right. Tell us, let's give a little bit of a backstory for anybody who's not familiar with grind.
Pro Wrestling Grind is my promotion that takes place in Western Mass. And it's actually a partnership between me and Delmi. It's our baby. And the thought behind starting it was we're starting to go all over the country and starting to see a whole bunch of wrestlers, and we knew a whole bunch of guys and girls around here who we wanted to see have more opportunities and stuff. But then we started seeing these other people in other areas. We're like, "Oh wow, this person could match up here, and that would be a cool match." Or, "I want to wrestle this person. How are we going to get this book?" And so I guess the most logical thing that we could think of was, let's start a wrestling promotion, and then we don't have to worry about waiting for someone else to do all these matches. We can do it, ourselves. And it kind of took off from there, and we stemmed a lot of our influence from Delmi loves Japanese culture. I love Japanese wrestling and the culture, and she went and spent some time in Japan. So we try to take a lot of influence from there and bring it over here, because I think there's a lot of people who say that they're really influenced by that stuff, but I feel like they don't act on it. We're trying to really act on it. And what we got so far with this brainchild is it feels kind of like old ROH, a little bit like the old early ROH and stuff. And then like I said, there's a ton of Japanese influence into it. Hell, it's in our logo and stuff. And just trying to make a really nice platform to have all these matches for these guys. And they're not necessarily the biggest names, or they're not the most popular wrestlers, but everyone that we book we love them personally as a wrestler and as a person, and we think they deserve a good platform, and we're just trying to give them that platform.
Yeah, definitely great stuff. So let's talk a little bit about it, like, because I've been backstage at so many different promotions. I've had so many promoters come onto this podcast. We talked about, I've watched like the grind of it, like right before a show. What's some of the like the stressful things and some of the most rewarding things about running grind?
The most stressful thing is definitely the day of. We don't have a crew. We literally have 4 people who show up, 4 or 5 people who show up regularly, like in time to start doing the load in with the ring and setup and stuff. So we don't have a crew. And then, like a couple hours go by and more people meander in and they help out with that because they know we don't have like a feeder school or a bunch of students who are coming down to help us out. So that's really the most stressful part, is trying to get the thing looking nice, because we're really anal about how nice it looks, and like the entrance and like the barricades and how the rows are going to sit. And okay, if the camera's facing this way, what are they seeing in the background? Are they seeing people? Are they seeing wall? And we're just really meticulous about that. And it just, with 4 people or 5 people, sometimes it's just you're going and you're sweating and you're changing shirts and you're like, oh man, and then I have to call a match. Because what you call it? Rip Byson's free talent, you know. I just don't know. So I gotta go call a match and stuff, but then at the end of the show, it's really rewarding when everyone sits down and goes, "Wow, that was a pretty good show." That show, it went smoothly. We haven't had any, knock on wood, any accidents, any injuries yet. So, like I said, I don't want to jinx us.
Oh, no.
But it's been going very smoothly, and we're still. October is our 1-year anniversary, so we're still within our first year, and it's going pretty good.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to Tim. Shout out to Tim. I mean, we always talk about him through, like, you know, Massachusetts with all the shows that I've been coming up to, and he was saying that you guys are doing such great things with grind. So I definitely wanted to shout him out and let you know that he said that as well. So. But
The number 1 fan.
I'm kind of sad that he's not coming to the show. I was like, are you coming? I was like, because, you know, I'm coming up alone. So I was looking to sit with some people. So I was looking forward to sit with him. So, but we'll catch up. Tim. But
Back, he got a new position at his job, and they're not letting him take off Friday. And that's another thing. I'm sorry to everybody that it's a Friday night show, but with every other show in the world running on Saturdays, it's like Fridays are the only logical place so we can get the people we want on the show,
right.
You know. So you know, that it's all checks and balances.
Yeah, I definitely like see that, because it's one of the hardest things as me being a fan, and I know I talked about this with you before we podcast, is like it's kind of hard, like choosing. Everybody's running all at once, and it's like me trying to be supportive of a bunch of different promotions. It's hard. Like I want to be at a bunch of places. If I can clone myself, I would be at a lot of places. So but I don't think the world's ready for that. And I'm actually laughing at this tweet. What?
You'd be spending double the money that way, though.
This is true. Oh, damn. Okay, well, one of the clones can get a job and, you know, pitch in on my wrestling problem. I love it. It was funny because I see Demi answered my post from earlier, because I said that the most important question that I needed to ask you is, am I allowed to throw foam bricks at Brick City Boys on Friday?
I don't know if you'll get them back. Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh, I don't care about that.
Can we stick with throwing the streamers?
Yes.
Let's throw the streamers. If you want to unroll the streamer, just beam them with those. Go ahead with that.
Oh, I got 100 points for each one that I hit. Perfect. Okay, we're gonna play points. Like, we're gonna see how many points I can get with throwing streamers at people.
There you go. Just don't throw them in the chandeliers over the ring.
No. We're good. Because I was talking about, though, they were on last week too on the podcast, and I got blamed that they thought it was me that was behind the bricks, the foam bricks being thrown at them at Wrestle Open. I was like, I'm home. I'm in New York. How am I getting blamed for this? So actually, you know what? Let's start from there. I have all the flyers for the matches. We're gonna talk a little bit about the matches. So I'm actually really excited for it. And I put a tweet out a couple of days ago, and I said, believe it or not, I was like, I feel that New England as a whole has some of the best tag team wrestling going right now. And I'm not saying that there's a great wrestling in tag teams, because there really is all over the place, but it really is a hotbed for tag team wrestling. So we're going to start with this. We're going to start with Brick City Boys against MSP. Oh man, I was really excited when you started announcing like the tag teams, and I was like, ooh, it doesn't really matter who's wrestling who. I know any combination is going to be fire. So
MSP was on our first show. They're in the main events. They're one of our core tag teams between them and main event. And we're just trying to get, we just had a stay of the Saito brothers, so we haven't had MSP back in a while. When was the last time? I think it was January. So it's been a while because we had to cancel a show in there and stuff. And then like we're trying to keep our cards short, so just booking too many matches, we just don't do it. So it took a while for them to come back, but this is their comeback show. And Brick City Boys, and I love MSP. MSP is one of, I remember when they first started, I was there their first day of training. I wasn't helping them train, I was watching them get trained and be right before a show. And but anyways, I had a couple of their first matches and stuff when I was tagging, and I love MSP. I think they're great. I like their change that they're doing now. I like that they're feeling themselves and they're doing their own thing, and I think that relates to me, because I around the same time started doing my own thing with Rip Byson and stuff, so I could really relate to them with what they're doing with the vibe. Brick City Boys, I heard about them and I saw them popping up on Wrestle Open, and then I started watching some of them. I'm like, oh, they actually sent some stuff to us early on in Grind, but it just got buried in. Like there was for some reason when we first announced, there was a lot of people who really wanted to be part of it, and theirs just got buried in the shuffle. But I started watching their matches. They started popping up more, and I like their gimmick. I like their look. I think they're a great team. I got to work with them a couple of times. So yeah, no, it's just, and I know they've wrestled, MSP and Brick City Boys have faced each other, but and I don't want to sound cocky, but there's something about the Grind ring that brings out a little bit different, because everybody comes in, they see how it's set up, and they go, okay, let's up the ante a little bit. So I'm excited to see what guys who are familiar with with each other will do if they up that ante, you know? And so it's like I said, I'm a mark for both teams, and I'm just looking forward to it. It'll be good tag wrestling.
I am too. I like them. They're great people, and I've interviewed both, so if you guys are not familiar with them, go check those interviews out as well. Like I said, I just had Brick City Boys last week, so that was fun. I got yelled at a lot during that interview. I piss off a lot of heels, don't I? So speaking of which, let's go here. Let's go with Mike Skyros and Joseph Alexander. I saw a bunch of back and forth going on between these two on Twitter today, which was pretty funny.
Yeah, they're both fired up. They're both 0-1 in Grind. They both have no wins, so this is like, all right, well, here's the two losers. One of you has to win, you know? And so, Skyros debuted against Travis Huckabee, and he kind of got the short straw with that, because Huckabee's been on a tear in Grind, and actually been a tear on all over. So he came up a little short. A-Game, he debuted against his trainer, Logan Black, at Antisocial, and they had, for an opening match, they went out there and they must have went about 20 minutes, and like literally 20 minutes. Yeah. And they tore down the house, built it up, tore it back down, lit the ashes on fire. It was a very hard match to follow.
Right.
And so he really impressed me, even though he came up short against his Logan. And so I think this will be a fun match to see what the two, the two youngsters, what they'll do against each other. And I'm looking forward to it too.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm really looking forward to this match. I won't bug Skyros too much. I'll try to behave myself at at this one. Wrestle Open, NFW. I don't know, but I'll try to behave myself on this one. Okay, another fun match: Channing Thomas and Max Zero. I love it. I love like all these names. I like everybody I know, which is so great. I've been seeing Channing at Wrestle Open a lot. Max Zero, I know, around the tri-state as well. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a good one. I think I haven't seen Max wrestle in person since Invictus, which was a while ago that I went to. But I saw him at one of the GCW shows in New York, just hanging around. So I'm happy that I'm gonna see this match.
Yeah. Max, he showed up a couple of times and helped out, and he actually fixed the barricades when a couple of us decided to get a little risque and go through them. So like he's was saving fans for a while, so he's helped out a lot. And one thing that intrigues me about Max is that other than the himbo gimmick that he's doing, he's always talking about how he wants to scrap and wants to fight and brawl and throw people and wants to. He's talking about how he's a killer, and man, I want to see that. I want to see that Max Zero. I've seen shades of it, but I want to see. Show me that Max Zero who's going to toss a guy like Channing Thomas around the ring. Channing Thomas, on the other hand, he's lost 2 at Grind, and he's kind of lost his way, but he has told us in the office and stuff that he has a plan. He has a new outlook, and he's going to show us it on Friday against Max Zero. So we'll see if Max can deal with this new Channing Thomas, or if Channing Thomas will just fall to the big brute, the big handsome brute.
Yeah. Oh man, gonna be a good match. All right, let's talk about another tag team match. Okay, I love this match. I knew this was happening before it even once you announced the other match, it was like, okay, well, it only makes sense. So I was like, that it's gonna be these 2 guys. But I love Miracle Generation very, very much. They're get all over, and I feel like I have no doubt. I told Kylon I have no doubt in my mind. I said that eventually these 2 will be signed somewhere down the line. I have no doubt in my mind. And main event I've been supporting since they first started out at House of Glory. So I love those 2. Those 2 tore the house down before, and I'm so excited that I actually get to see this in person, because I haven't seen them wrestle in person. So I'm super ecstatic for this match, man.
We got a message. When did we announce that match? Yesterday? We announced it yesterday. And we got a message from Midas Black, and he goes, "Are the ceilings tall enough?" And we had to assure him that yes, the ceilings are tall enough. So this is going to be a tough match to follow from anyone on the card. Mm-hmm. I love both teams. Both teams have great attitudes. Main Event's probably my favorite tag team on the indies. I have gone on record saying that many times. And Miracle Gen is just, they've been killing it. Yeah. They've been doing lately, so I'm very excited to see. And I know it's just like the MSP and Brick City Boys. Yeah. It's not the first time they faced each other, so let's see what how they're going to up the ante now and stuff. And we're going to give them that platform to do it, and I'm very excited for it. And both teams seem very excited to face each other too.
Yeah, the chemistry is real between them. I love that. I feel like you get more of a, like you said, it kind of ups the ante. I've seen some of those just in general with certain people. Some people just have that chemistry, and you can keep putting them together. They're just gonna put bangers of the match. Yeah. So I feel like that's definitely one. So all right, let's talk Travis Huckabee versus Anthony Henry. Anybody that knows me knows that I love bridges, and I always tell Travis this because I remember being backstage at Pizza Party Pro, and he was stretching, and he did this gorgeous bridge, and I snapped the photo of it, and I marked out, I love my bridges. If you're not doing it with toes, it's not a beautiful bridge. It's not the correct bridge.
I get that.
Normalize the perfect bridge by 2025, that everybody should be doing the perfect bridge. But yeah. But everybody is, but he's got a gorgeous bridge. I love Travis, one of the best technical wrestlers out there, in my opinion. And then Anthony Henry, who's been freaking tearing house down everywhere. And I know, what's his name? shout out to Cassettes on Twitter, because he was saying, ask Anthony, why is he so underrated good, So,
Yeah.
but this is going to be a really, really good match.
This is one of 2 matches that I actually got like cornered in my kitchen after a show and was told by both wrestlers that they wanted to tango in the ring at our show, and it's like, oh geez, okay, geez, I'm stuck in the kitchen. I can't say no. They're about to beat me up.
Right.
No, they've. Anthony Henry really wants to work with Travis. He knows how good Travis is, and that, man, both of them are so technical and so good at it, and it should be really good. And Travis has said on multiple occasions that this is one of his matches on the list to have, and I'm just happy to be the first one to do it. It's just gonna be a really good match.
Yeah. Again, this whole card, like, I feel like there's no sleeper. There's none. There's no sleeper card. Like, this is a jam.
Grind. We try to have, like, the past couple of shows, there hasn't been any sleeper matches, or if there were a sleeper match, well, they blew the other matches out of the water because they weren't talked about enough, and it was amazing, and it ended up not being a sleeper. So we try to do that with every grind show, is stack the card.
No, it's so I'm so glad that this is like my first one that I'm physically coming into, so I'm really stoked to take the drive up, because this card's so good. I'm so excited for it. So let's talk about your match. Let's talk about your match with Perry Von Vicious. Like, I damn, this is gonna be good. Like, you guys are like good friends outside of the ring.
No, not friends. Hate each other.
Okay, hate each other.
There's one person I hate in professional wrestling, is Perry Von Vicious. And I dislike him so much. I actually dislike him so much that I will sit in a car for 16 hours and drive to Nashville, Tennessee from where I'm at, just to be miserable, because I hate him so much. That's how much I hate Perry Von Vicious. Anyway, this might be also the 3,000th time that we face each other, so who knows what we're going to do. You might see never before seen stuff, because we already know what each other does, so we might have to break out new stuff. And I have no idea how this match is going to go, but we're both angling for that sweet grind grand championship tournament, and everyone has to face each other to be involved in that tournament. So here we go. Let's see what we do.
Well, I feel like I said earlier, that I think it's one of those things that you guys know each other so well, and then like the chemistry is so good because of the fact that you know each other so well. You're friends, that you could up the ante every time and not have to worry about it, because you already know each other. So this is gonna be fun. I'm really looking forward to this match too. So, okay, so let's talk Jay Freddy versus Gary J. I'm excited to see Gary J. I haven't seen him in a while in person, so I'm really looking forward to that. And Jay Freddy's on a tear as well. So talk to us a little bit about this.
This is the second match that I was cornered in my dining room / kitchen and was told that I need to book. Actually, I think Jay Freddy asked for it at a show after Gary J and Ryan Mooney happened in March. And then Gary J had been messaging me. He's like, when I come back, am I facing Jay Freddy? It's like, okay, geez, we get to face Jay Freddy, And, so both guys are veterans. They've been around each other forever.
Right.
Like, this is just, they're both staples in their part of independent wrestling, which go in their own way. And it's just like, again, let's see what they can do. Gary J's not going to be beating up on a guy like Ryan Mooney, I'm not saying he's green, but he's a little bit newer and stuff. He's beating up on an old hand like Jay Freddy, who's gone to Japan. He's done everything that I personally would love to do in professional wrestling, and he's coming back, and he has this new outlook and this new renaissance on himself. And let's see what these two really good old hands can do to each other. It's going to be freaking violent. That's all I don't think there's going to be a match on this card that's going to be as violent as this one. It's just, man, I'm looking forward to it. It's my personal favorite of the card, but that it can get blown out of the water by any of the other ones, Right. But like right now, I'm like, let's see what Jay Freddy and Gary J can do. Let's see what these guys want to throw at each other.
Oh man, I'm excited. Again, this whole card. So I gotta ask, is there gonna be any surprises at this show?
There might be. You should definitely show up. I know of one match that there's definitely a surprise in. I don't know if it's a good surprise, but definitely a surprise.
Oh, this is why you
So
guys should be tuning in. So
yeah, you guys actually be there live because I'm slow at getting them up on IWTV. So you never know. You'll find out about it before you get to see it. So you should buy tickets now.
yes, which that link is in the description, so you can go buy tickets. Definitely go check it out. I'm really like looking forward to it. So I mean, again, there's a million wrestlers out there, pretty much. And, you know, I know, again, like I said, there's so many promoters. I'm friends with promoters. You know, the DMs are always crazy trying to get booked onto the show. Is there anything particular that like maybe you're looking for to book on Grind?
I'm a huge proponent of have a good and I be a good person.
Yeah.
Be someone. I don't need superstars. I don't want superstars. I want guys who, who will help out, who will give it their all. They're not coming in because, oh, this is the second of 3 bookings of the weekend and I can half-ass this one. I want people to give me their all because, I mean, I'm not just some, and Delmi's not just some promoter with money who's booking these shows. We're workers too, and we appreciate work ethic. And like, if you're a hard worker and you're bust your ass, you have a good attitude, you keep out of trouble. That's what I'm looking for, and that's the biggest thing I'm looking for. And then, like, obviously, I'm a big stickler for good wrestling and stuff, and I really look for good wrestling. We're doing a wrestling product. There's a whole bunch of other shows that do more character and more gaga stuff, and that's totally fine. But my product is, let's have some good wrestling matches. It's pseudo sport, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I look for
Yeah.
as a promoter or a booker and whatever. Good attitude, and let's take this a little serious. Let's put in the work for these people because there's not a lot of people doing a whole show of really good professional wrestling, in my opinion.
Yeah, you want to be like invested, and I like that. I like going to those shows where it's like you get so invested in the wrestling. I always talk about like one of the important things that I kind of look for is promos. I always tell like wrestlers, like, you know, there's a bunch, they don't do promos. Get me excited about your match, like put it out there. So it's like the little clap backing forth that I see on social media sometimes entertains the hell out of me to get me more excited for these matches. And, you know, even with me doing the podcast, I love talking about matches that are coming up with people. So it gets me more invested. So, and if you're watching it on IWTV, make sure you're tweeting about it. You know, I love interacting with other fans, like watching. Even though, like, I'm not physically with all these people, somebody could be in UK watching it with me, and we're just tweeting about it. So make sure you're tweeting about this show. So when it's up on IWTV. So, yeah. So, I mean, I'm really excited again for Friday. I'm really looking forward to seeing this show. So, so again, let's talk a little bit more about you. I know I have another like fan tweet. That I'm gonna save the fan tweet for the end because it kind of coincide with how I like to end my podcast. So, but give us one of your best road trip stories.
Oh, I have some not okay ones. What you call it? Well, how bad can I go? I've told this one on I've told this one on other podcasts. My first trip up to Canada, and it's a really long and winding story, but it's one of my favorite stories because we go up there. It's my first time going up there. We're going up with there's 3 of us who are brand new doing this trip, and there's one guy who's been doing it like once a month for the past 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he's always going to Canada, and he's sitting in the back of the car, and he's like, "You guys can talk at the border." And so I'm nervous, and I'm driving the car, and I hand over the passports, and as soon as I'm about to open my mouth to answer the border guy's question, his name's Jason Rumble, sticks his big nose from the back seat and starts screaming at the border officer over me.
Oh no!
And so the border officer's he's pissed off, and so we have to get brought in, and we were told by Jay that to not tell him that we have merch, and unfortunately they opened up the back. I had an SUV with a swinging door, so everything was stacked.
Oh no!
Like 10 in the back. And so he opens the swinging door, and one of the dudes' merch box slides out and hits him square in the face. falls on the ground and spills T-shirts and 8x10s everywhere. So now we've double pissed him off because he was screaming at him at the border, and we lied to him about the merch. And so we figured out how to get through. It was like we spent 4.5 hours at the border. We were like, man, we're not going to make this show. They ended up letting us go through. And as soon as we pull away from the border patrol station, and we're like just out of sight, we round the corner, and Jay pulls out his weed pen.
Oh no!
And he goes, "Good thing they didn't check my person for drugs." And I was like, oh, that's the punchline. And like that was just nerve-wracking. I mean, I was 4 years in the business. I had just gotten my passport for that trip.
Oh,
and I'm like, I'm already going to lose it. I'm going to lose it because this guy won't shut up, you know? And he's carrying drugs over the border. It's like, oh my God.
No. Oh man, that's crazy. That's crazy. I'd be nervous too. A fun question that I like asking on this podcast is kind of a staple. What's the craziest thing a fan's done to get your attention?
No one's done anything real crazy to me.
No.
I think they're all kind of scared, and I like that. They'll come up and they'll be like, "Hey, high five" and stuff, or
Yeah.
"Hey, Rip, over here, high five, fist bump, whatever." But no one's ever done anything super crazy with me because I come out swinging that chain. I'm screaming. I have crazy eyes. I look like a maniac. I'm bigger than most of them, and they're just like, "No, let's just." I'm like a bear at a zoo. There's a good thing there's a cage there for them to hide behind, you know. I think, and I kind of like that. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, you don't want to get hit by that. And we've heard some crazy stories on this podcast. Fun ones. They're like not bad, like fun, like fun crazy. Like people handing off babies to wrestlers and
does that because they think Rip Byson's going to either eat them or throw them across the room. So it's pretty cool, or whack with the chain or the strap or whatever I'm carrying,
I love it. All right. What's some goals of 2022 for you?
Really establish grind as a powerhouse in the Northeast, hopefully the country as a promotion. Just for me personally as a wrestler, wrestle everywhere. I want to wrestle the best. I want to wrestle everywhere. I want to be seen on all the big shows, and stuff on the indies. I don't really care about the next step after that. I want to become a king of the indies, if you will, before I go and think about what's next. Near future, past 2022, I want to go to Japan and be a regular in Japan. So like those are my basic goals.
That's fun. I love seeing like everybody's doing a lot of traveling lately, to Europe. Like a lot of wrestlers lately. Shout out even like Anthony Green, we just like had like a whole bunch of people like Ninja Mac who was in Japan, like such cool stuff. I love the indies. I love supporting everybody. I love seeing like everywhere that they go. So with that being said, is there anybody, I'm gonna actually say like a lot of the younger talent, because there's so much young talent out there, it's crazy, and they're getting younger and younger and younger, which is scary. Shout out Nick Wayne, who's 16 years old, Billy Starks, who's like 17 years old. It's insane. So is there anybody that's like caught your eye that you haven't wrestled that you want to get in the ring with?
Oh, there's a ton of people. Actually, one of them is O'Shea Edwards, who I book on the show. It's just a matter of time before I book him and I versus each other. That one will be really good.
That will be good.
Any of those big Haas boys. There's a lot of Isaiah Broner really impressed me down south. Dominic Guarini, I really want to wrestle with. There's so many. There was a match. I was announced to face Joe Black at Uncharted Territory last week, but unfortunately had to cancel. And like I've seen him wrestle, but I didn't think about that match until it was booked. I'm like, oh, that would be a fun match and stuff like that. So like, there's a ton of people. I really just want to wrestle anybody who's great, and let's just have a kick-ass banger of a match, because that's all I want to do is have badass matches, you know.
Yeah, I would throw Ryan Redfield in there, one of the Matt Tremont students, like him and Desmond Cole. That's the first time that I actually saw Desmond Cole was when him and Riot. I mean, he's young. I think he's like 22 years old, and he's had some great matches. And I always tell him, I was like, you know, with you with the right opponent, again, still young in the game and everything like that. I was like, you have some banger matches. I was like, so him and Desmond Cole, I need them to run it back like as soon as possible. But I would love to see you guys get into the ring. I think it'd be really, really good. So Ryan, come up to grind with me.
That's the quickest way to jump the list. Show up to grind. We don't have a ring group. Anyway.
Pretty much. So all right, let's do this fan tweet that kind of like coincides how I like to end the podcast. So it's from Good Cop Bad Cop. Shout out to you. He goes, with Rip Byson being an anagram of buy in pros, what is your best tip for upcoming wrestlers and them to get buy in the pros?
It's an old expression, but it can be it can keep I learned it back when the Carnies were still in wrestling and like early 2010 2012. Ears open, mouth shut.
Yeah,
you're new in the business, you don't know jack. Be humble, listen. You can always learn from somebody. It doesn't matter. You can learn it from new guys, you can learn it from old guys. I'm like in that middle ground now. I've been doing it for 10 years now, where it's like some people ask me like, oh, a veteran question, and I'm still learning. There's still so much to learn. You'll never be the best professional wrestler because you'll never face every single professional wrestler in the world.
right.
So you'll never know who's better than you. You'll never know. And I don't want it to sound negative and stuff, but just work hard and listen and learn and respect the business and become a student and love it, because it's just like, it can be rewarding to people like that. But then there's a lot of people who get a rocket shot up their ass, and then they become too, their head gets bigger for them, and they've only been in the business 2 years, and then a year and a half later goes by and they're out of the business because they're miserable and they don't know why everyone hates them. Well, because you didn't stay humble. You get a longevity in this if you just shut up, listen, have a good attitude. And that's how you get by in this. That's what I did. That's what's worked for me. And like I said, I'd stay up. My social media is literally just promoting shows or doing character work for me, which isn't that much, actually. It's mostly just me commenting on shows or matches I'm booked in. And it's like, that's what this is. This is a business. Mind your own business and be good for your own business.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest thing. Humble, listen, shut up.
Short and sweet, pretty much, but it's so true. Like it's so true. So I know Sky will appreciate that. Sky's 18. She started training not that long ago in the UK. She loves listening to the interviews. She loves the advice from all you guys because it does help her, with starting to get into the wrestling world. So shout out to Sky for being a big supporter of the Indie Wrestling Corner. So so again, I'm gonna flash up for you guys that are watching on the video screen the matches that we have coming up. So tickets obviously are still available, so why don't you tell everybody prices, what time, all that for the show.
We have front row is $25. General admission is everything from second row back is $15. Grinddoctor.eventbrite.com is where you can get those tickets online. Tickets will still be sold at the door, same prices. We don't up them for the door and we don't lower them. They stay the same prices. Doors are at 7 p.m. on Friday, and we will start, and we've been getting really good with this, starting at 7:30 sharp. That'll be the first match going out. We don't do pre-show matches. As soon as 7:30 starts, we're starting that show, and we are hitting off with our opener. So one of those 7 matches, we haven't really decided which one it's going to be yet. Okay. But 7 p.m. doors, 7:30 bell time.
Awesome. And it will be on IWTV as soon as it can. So definitely make sure you're following the grind on all socials. But tell everybody where all your socials, where they can find you, support you, your merch, all that good stuff.
You can support Pro Wrestling Grind at Grind Puro. That's on that's on Facebook. That's on Twitter. That's on Instagram. I was lucky enough to get the same name for each and every one. So if you search at Grind Puro on all of those, you will get get us. You can find Rip Byson if you type in Rip Effin Bison on Twitter. That's where I mostly interact with people. Instagram is Iron Rip Bison, and I don't have a Facebook because you all don't need to talk to me in the messenger. I have a pro wrestling tease, but if you search Iron Rip Bison on there, but I would prefer you message me individually, and I can get more money for my shirts that way, other than what they give me for the cut. So I have all my merch, and DM me. My DMs are open. And if you want a grind shirt or grind sticker or eventually new grind stuff that we get going, you can DM the grind pages as well for that merch. And that's pretty much where you can find me.
Awesome. I'm so excited. So bring streamers, guys. Don't bring the foam bricks like the Brick City boy. I'm sorry.
You can bring them. I'm just going to say I'm going to use them to barricade all you guys out of the door. We'll have a videotaping thing.
I'm for this. Now, bring.
Might like Brick City Boys, so maybe you'll just be the one jerk throwing the brick at them. Don't be a jerk.
Why not? I'll be that one jerk for them.
We're gonna have to escort you out.
Well, I will be bringing streamers. I ordered them today because shout out to Cassettes on Twitter, because I was like, he was like, oh, if you ask nicely, Quentin will throw streamers with you. And I was like, oh, damn, I have no more streamers. I used them last at Miracle Generation at Beyond. I was like, I got to buy some more. So Amazon Prime, baby, they'll be here by Wednesday or else I'm going to cry. But I will be up with some streamers, so bring some streamers. I love when I see a bunch of streamers at a bunch of promotions, which is so fun. So, but Rip, thank you so much for coming on here talking grind. I'm really excited coming up to the show finally, that I can come support. So everybody, make sure you're watching or buy tickets and come to the show. So.
Having me on. It was great talking about this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, thanks again for tuning in. Thanks for all your questions, all the support. I love you guys. Bobby Orlando's coming on Wednesday night, so make sure you...
That's my favorite wrestler. You should watch that one. He's my favorite professional wrestler. Bobby Orlando's the best, and he's my mom.
Aw, he's so great. I'm excited to chat with him Wednesday night, so definitely tune in for that. So, guys, you know the drill. Stay safe, support independent wrestling, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.